So Judy, we've got to make some changes in this flyer and also in this Microsoft Word membership contract. We do these every year, and you've been talking about Notability. Is there some way or some reason that Notability would make this easier than just simply going in and making it, updating in my Microsoft Word document? I'm not sure I understand,
Well,
how Notability might help for something like this.
well, the reason I like it is because I can put text boxes, I can just cross out words, I can leave the original document the way it is, but then I can just change color with my markings, and I can use my pen, and whether it's a PDF, because usually when I get these things, they're PDFs from our graphic designer, Deb, of course. I think she does them in InDesign, but then she saves them in PDFs and sends them to me. And there are other apps or tools that you can use to mark up, or they annotate whatever the word they're calling it. And I just like something that has a point on it, not just my finger to cross out a line or whatever. But Notability is something I started using on the iPad. And when I bought an iPad that had a pencil, an Apple Pencil, it has a nice point, and I can also use it in a browser on a regular computer. And so it's not as easy to edit because I don't have a touch screen with a pencil on my iMac. So I just do it on my iPad, go over to my regular computer, and I can save it on either document. But I was having some issues with Notability with emailing it, and just the emails not going through. Or when you save things on an iPad, that is one issue I have of where do they go? I can save it, but there's not like a desktop like there is with a computer. So basically, I go over to my computer, and I was working on the new contract for 23-24 for NWOAT membership. And so now I will go over to my desktop computer, which it could be a laptop, either one. There is actually a Notability app for the Mac, as well as one for the iPad.
So I've got a couple questions. So first off, so the document that you were working on was in Microsoft Word. So can Notability be used for both
it was
Word?
actually, well, if it was in Word, it didn't matter. I just take it into my Notability.
So it can use both Word or PDF?
Any document, any file. So if it's a JPEG, PDF, a Word document, I just take it into Notability, and I don't mess with the it's editing. Notability, I don't believe, can edit like you could on Word, but I can just draw lines, I can highlight, I can circle whatever it is, just like if I were marking it up with a marker.
Can you type text?
But we, since we work a lot from different locations, Deb doesn't come into the office, I don't come into the office, I just send her this marked up thing, and she takes it into InDesign and makes the changes that I and that right now I'm trying to go into my Notability on my computer and bring it up. There's the contract.
Yeah, if you could bring one up, I would love to see.
I will share my screen so you can see it.
So Notability doesn't actually change the document itself, but it's a way we could collaborate and see what changes
exactly
you want to make or I want to make.
Right. Notability. Go ahead.
I'm guessing that it's, if you want those to be the final changes, it could be the final changes, but does it allow you to do text boxes? Like, can you create a text box and type something?
In fact, you will see on here, well, I guess it wasn't on this document. You can, there's the little text box there. So I can draw a text box, and so let me you can see the original document as I downloaded it right here from an email. So I'm going to close that so you can see, but Notability comes up as a separate, and then I drew these in on my iPad, and I was thinking that I had put a text box, but
Now, you made some corrections and changes on your iPad, but right now you're looking at those
on my
using
computer.
Notability on your computer. So
Exactly.
can you go ahead and make additional changes on your computer?
Yes, I can. See, I can, there's one, or I can, I can write, but trying to write with a mouse is like, like really
Okay,
difficult.
so let me give you a specific one. In that first text paragraph, the last line, it says, services may be used through June 30th, 2024, 6/30/2024.
Oh, it's
That should be a 25.
right, and I didn't catch that yet, so I haven't sent it to her.
So
So
what can you do? Yeah.
and so I would, and I noticed the text box is not, so if I cross that out and then I put a 5, I'm doing this with my mouse, it's not too bad. So there we go.
Okay.
Now, doing this text box on here is not working the same way it did on my, it just makes a regular text box, and I'm not sure why it's not doing the quick text box. It says it can, but oh, there it is. I guess I just wasn't doing it right. So
I do know from talking to some teachers that use this with their students that if it's on the computer, it does different things than on an iPad. Same for the teacher. So like it directly connects to this, the teachers. Okay, so Schoology, they use Schoology, and the teacher puts things on Schoology that the students have to type in or answer, like it's a worksheet that's not a Google Doc, and so the students are accessing them on an iPad. And so when the students go on their iPad to Schoology, they click on the document and then they open it in Notability. And I'm pretty sure they pay for it. I'm not sure if you're using the free version, but I do know that the teacher will grade the stuff in Notability, and he prefers to do it on an iPad as opposed to a computer because the tools in the iPad are better for what he wants to do.
Exactly. I mean, all these symbols and everything are identical to what I see on my iPad, but they don't work quite the same. And Notability, when I first bought it, I think was $5.99 for the app, $5.99 for the app. And that was, once I had downloaded it on my iPad, on the Mac, I did not have to pay for the app when I went to the App Store on my iMac. But now they've even got extra features, and there's a subscription plan, but we were grandfathered in. Those people that bought the app originally on the iPad, we did not have to buy it again. But if I want those special features, which are like stickers, templates, they'll give you a few free ones, but they don't give you all of them. They'll show it. I don't know if I can show the basic templates, but there were extra ones that were like grayed out, the basic templates. And so I have not decided that I want to do the
So is there a free version you can get in and play around with? Or maybe
yes,
you can use
definitely. In fact, now on the iPad or on the Mac, it's free for the basic version. But if you want to do all the features, you have to pay. And I have, let me close some of these things.
I'm just wondering for classroom use. So as a teacher, I almost for sure would want a paid version, but my students maybe could view the documents or make changes. Like Tanya was just talking about using a free version.
If I'm right, remembering right, I think it is, there's either free or for schools, there's an education plan that,
Yeah, there is an education plan for it.
Yeah,
that is correct.
right. It's either reduced or maybe even free for institutions. So if you see the subscription here, I was thinking I read, and I will not say that Notability is the very best annotation thing, but for what I do, and when you learn to use something, you learn all the features. If I was going back between OneNote from Microsoft, which comes along with your Microsoft plan, whatever you have, Good Notes, I've heard some equally good things about Good Notes as far as, but again, downloading may be free in the App Store. The thing is, Notability is not available for Windows yet or for Android. As far as I know, they said they're considering it.
But I was just going to say, unfortunately, it doesn't look like it works on Chromebooks. At least
No,
yet.
and that is one thing that I did see.
Okay.
They have not gotten it up, to Chromebooks, which I don't know if there is a note taking. Now, the thing is, I only use it to annotate documents. I have never created a document from scratch in Notability, which you can do. And Good Notes, it looks like it's really maybe a little bit better than Notability as far as some of the features. I really was watching some YouTube vid. In fact, that's how I think if you were trying to compare all these note-taking type apps that you're going to spend money on, I would go look at some YouTube videos and see the features that you really like and go with that one, because I've got some acquaintances that are very techy, and a couple of them use, one of them's Kelly Croy. He uses Good Notes, and I value his opinion a lot because he's really into the latest in technology. So, but I just happened to start using Notability, and I really liked it, and it's working. And so I think that's what you got to pick one that you want to use and go with it.
So just to kind of summarize, there are some competitors out there, but if you want to make updates and changes to documents, it's a really great way to do your proofreading and your pre-editing of the documents. You got to have, currently at least, you got to have Macintosh, iOS, iPads, or Mac computers, laptops in order to use it. But if that's what you're working with, it might be a really neat tool to consider.
I'm hoping that Microsoft comes out with something, or keeps right now they're only supporting the OneNote through, I think
it's got some of the features that the features are similar to OneNote. Yeah,
exactly. So if you have, but again, I don't think the Chromebook I don't know if the Chromebook can use OneNote. I did not just
the online version. Yeah.
So that might be in if you like something like what the Notability does, but it has an annual subscription. But again, I was grandfathered in, so I'm not paying for that because it does what I need to do. I don't need all the fancy stickers and emojis and all these other things that they've put into that. So
a couple things that I found just now is that here's the free Notability versus the plus. And based on my use of it, it has so much more. Like you can even do audio recording and have it be an online lesson for your students. So I feel like Notability went from this baseline annotation tool to this huge lesson creation for teachers. And not just the basic thing for students either, where the students can take something normally that they wouldn't be able to write on and annotate and answer questions. Like, for instance, if you have a PDF of a worksheet, you could put it on your Google Classroom or your Schoology or whatever you want, and the students would be able to answer the questions and submit it. But it looks like it does so much more now than just that, because you can see on the paid part over here where it says handwriting conversion and search. It's almost like it's trying to do more of a smart board kind of thing, where you can record your lesson, you can annotate while you're recording your lesson and then send it to the students. But my opinion, the free version allows you to have the versatility of taking something that the students can't normally write on and answer questions. And let's say that they submit a paper to you, you could go and show them the revision notes and suggestions of what they should change on that paper, send it back to them. And it'd be a way to communicate with the students how they can change something or alter something that they've been working on. And
Right.
but I noticed this too. Have you come into this problem with you have the paid version, don't you, Judy?
Well, I bought the version, so I have pretty much what it says for free there. I've never used the auto recording, but it syncs with the different, from to my Mac. Like I said, very quickly. Before it was, I had to wait, even last week, I had to wait a minute on some of the drawings that I did for it to show up on my computer when I did it on my Mac or my iPad. But last night when I was trying it, it was immediate. So I don't know if it was
Nice.
just my internet connection or what it was, what was taking, because I see it says for Notability Plus that iCloud sync. Well, maybe because I have the version I paid for the app. Back in the day, it was just a download install fee. But I can sync now, whether I doubt if it does that math conversion. And I know there were like 5 or 6 stickers that it had, but then there were all these stickers that it had plus beside it. So in other words, I'd have to get the Notability Plus. And I thought, I don't need those stickers, I just things. And the math conversion, I do not need. I don't even need the handwriting conversion.
Right. That's what makes me feel like it's more of a smartboard thing, because they've added the math tools, they've added the,
Right.
the conversion of things and that kind of stuff. But yeah, and like you said, Judy, there are a million ways to do what you want to do. And say specifically, you only want students to annotate. There's probably a very simple free tool that just allows you to annotate. But if you look at your entire curriculum, which tool fits best for you? Is it Cami? Is it GoodNotes? Is it OneNote? Is it Notability? Or is it something like Canva?
Notability is free for the basic version. I paid for it, but now there's this subscription.
Yeah. And I was just looking at that. There's, as usual, quite a bit of difference between what you can do with the free version, but the paid version, but you certainly could get started with the free. And Tanya, you said something I think so incredibly important, experiment with some of these. If you're going to be using this, especially across multiple teachers throughout a building or across the district, and we absolutely will be delighted to help you with that process. Take a look at 2 or 3 or 4 similar top-rated, well-respected products and see which one's going to be right. What's going to be right first and foremost for your curriculum, but also that it's going to be compatible with the technology you're using. And again, to summarize specifically on this tool, it works very well across the Macintosh platform. It works well, or at least is reported to work well, if you're using the Office 365 on your Chromebook or anything that's the online version of Office. It will work well, but unfortunately, it does not have an app to use directly on Chromebooks. So
yeah, it's a wonderful app, great app. I love it. I've heard great things about it in districts, and I'm always a free person. I'm always trying to offer what is the best app out there that's free that'll help you achieve the goals you need in your classroom. So I think this is a great one, definitely a great one, especially looking at that list. And of course, we'll have that list and other resources that we've discussed or mentioned in this this episode. So as always, and actually all those resources will be on our website, the link that you can see on your screen right there. And of course, if you have any questions or want to know about some of the other apps more specifically that Roger, Judy, and I have mentioned, feel free to email us, and all our contact information will be at the end of this video. So great resource, Judy. And, I look forward to the next tool that all of us will be discussing that kind of comes up in our weekly meetings. So thank you, Judy. Thank you, Roger. And we'll see you next week with our next point of discussion.
cool.